so that every single change that I do inside this project should be tracked, and in last I can check in the entire project repository into the Git centralized server, that is GitHub. Now, in order to track files of an existing project, we first need to initialize the Git repository inside that project. So, how are we going to do that? Let's say this was my project. This is my project, and I'll first go inside this project, and there are two ways of doing it, right? Either open up Git bash from here and navigate to this location by saying cd and cd and give this path uh, like C drive and then cd. One by one you need to go to this folder, that is version control, and then cd my specialty, right? And over here you write git init, right? This is one of the thing you need to do. The next thing, I mean, the easiest way is that if you've already installed git on your windows, then once you right click over here, you're gonna find the git bash over here. Click over here and it will directly gonna take you to this local your project, right? And here you can write git init. This is the very first one, git init. As soon as you press enter, it will say initialized empty git repository in this, and if you take a look over here, it has actually created a .git folder over here, a hidden folder. I have actually done a setting which actually shows the hidden files. So if you have not made the hidden files visible, then you're not gonna see this folder, right? This is basically these folders are for Git to understand and to maintain your entire project, right? Now this is a local Git repository that's been created. Now let's see further what we have done so far. So if we execute this command, if this is executed successfully, then it will actually going to create an empty Git repository in the specified path, right, as a hidden folder that we have just seen, right? So this empty Git repository is a Git skeleton, and whatever files that are there in our project, they are not yet being tracked, right? Now we're going to see how we can track these files. We can track the files that are there in our current project, right? So for tracking the files, we need to add them into the Git repository first, and then we need to do the initial commit, right? So how are we going to do this process? So there are two ways of doing it. Let's say whatever files that you have, you go to the files one by one, and on the git bash you need to write git, and then the command that you should be giving add, and then you need to give the individual file name, let's say sugar.txt, t.txt, right? Or what else you can do, if you give git hash git add star.txt, it will actually gonna add all the files, right? This is actually the master branch, right? And it will not it has not shown anything. It means that the entire files are being added. If they are not added, then it might have thrown some error. So if you want to check whether all these are successfully added or not, just write git status, and you're gonna see the initial commit changes to be committed. These files are not yet committed. These are all new files which are inside these folders. See, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, all the 7 files are being added to the repository and are ready for our initial commit. Now, these files are actually ready for commit. These are not yet committed, right? So the centralized repository of Git, the local repository or the centralized repository will not going to contain these files at this moment, right? Till the time the files are not successfully committed, they will not go to the Git repository, right? Now, how are we gonna commit these files? So the next thing we're gonna see over here, in order to commit already tracked files. Now these files are being tracked, right? But these files are not yet committed. So in order to commit these files, we the next command that we need to target is git commit, right? So how are we gonna target it? So I'm gonna write over here that is git commit -m, and here I'll will be giving some statement. So this statement is mandatory. I need to give some commit statement. I can say my first commit, right? And I press enter. So as soon as I press enter, it will actually see, you can see 7 files change, 10 inserts, right? So it has actually added these 3 folders and all the 7 files. So this is my initial commit. Now if you write git status, you'll see nothing to commit, working directory clean. So each and every file is being tracked now. It's being sent to the git repository, right? So the git repository holds our entire files, the entire project that we have created so far, right? And this is how we will be committing our Selenium files, our Java files, right? So right now these are just text files. So when we need to commit the Java files, we'll say like git add star.java. Like over here we have said git add star.text, right? So these are some of the very important commands that you need to remember when you're working with Git. Now, when I'm saying, I mean, all these files are being tracked, now what exactly I mean by the tracking of these files? Let's say there is a change in requirement, right? Now, let's say if I go back to my project, and now the requirement is that I need to prepare the tea for 2 people, right? So in that case, the ingredients, there will be change in the ingredients as well. Now this time it has to be 4 teaspoons, right? And a tea quantity should be 2 teaspoons, and water should be, let's say, 60 ml, right? The quantity is doubled, and if the quantity is double, then the pricing, the costing will also be double. So it should be like 100 cents, or right, and the tea cost should be 160 cents, and water is free, so there won't be any change in this file, right? And even in the recipe there won't be change in the recipe file, right? So we have made changes to some of the file, and in some of the file there are no changes that's been made. Now let us see whether these files, the changes that we have made, are actually being tracked by the Git or not. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the Git bash, and I'll again fire the command that is git status. And as soon as I fire this, you're gonna see that the changes, the files that are being modified are the sugar, tea, and the water inside the ingredients, that we have actually doubled the quantity, and then we have increased the costing for only sugar and tea, right? So these are the 5 files in which the changes are being made and which are actually being tracked by Git. So whatever code that we're going to change, whatever the changes that we're going to do in our current project in the coding, if we add just single line of code as well in any of the Java file or any file, then that will be tracked by this Git version control system, right? Now this cycle will gonna keep on running like this only. I mean, every day you're gonna come, you'll write some code, and at the end of the day, you'll actually gonna cover that code for checking to the centralized Git server, right? Now let's see. Let's talk about the life cycle of Git, how it actually works. So whatever we have seen so far, we have a working directory, and in which we have added the files, the files in which we have written the code. We have added those files. Those files will then be taken to the staging area, right? Whenever we add these files, it has taken to these files are actually taken to the staging area, and from there we actually commit these files, and then it will be taken to the Git local repository, right? So once they are into the Git local repository, from there we actually need to check in this code to the Git centralized server, right? To the GitHub server, right? So this is the entire Git life cycle, like for our working directory for our project to be committed onto the GitHub, right, via Git client. Now again, when I have made changes to these files which are being tracked, and this time again I need to add these files for the next commit, right? So what I'll do, I'll again fire the command that is git add star.txt, right? And let's see if it adds the entire files or if it adds only the files in which the changes are being done. So if I press enter, okay, it has not shown any status. So now I'll say git status, and we'll see only these 5 files in which the changes were made are actually added, not the entire text files, only 5 files. And when I do the next commit, it will actually gonna commit these 5 files only. So these 5 files are right now onto the staging area, and from staging, when I do the initial commit, it will go to the Git local repository. Now when these 5 files are ready to commit, I'll again fire the command that is git commit. I'll again commit it, and I'll say -m, and this is my second commit, right? And I'll press enter. So over here you can see 5 files were changed and 5 insertions were done, 5 files were added over there, and the previous 5 files were actually removed from the Git repository, right? So only these 5 files were impacted. And now when I again do git status, it will again tell me that there are nothing to commit, right? So we have actually committed all our files, right? So in this tutorial we're going to see up till this much only. In the next tutorial we're going to see how we actually gonna push the entire code which is there in our local repository to the GitHub server, right? And there we'll actually gonna see all the version controlling that's been done, right? So far what we have seen what exactly centralized, what is the difference between a local version control, centralized version control, and a distributed version control system. And we have also seen an overview of Git, how we can use Git, and what is Git and GitHub, right? And then we have installed the Git, and we have fired some of the commands. We have created a project, we have added those files to the staging environment, and then we have committed those files. Then we have made some changes to those files, and then we have again committed the updated files, right? So this is what we have seen so far. In our next module we're gonna see how we can work on the GitHub. All right.